Hello and welcome back to Yorkshire Railway and welcome to the first model railway review of 2024. Today we're going to be looking at the ScotRail Class 43 HST pack, and as you'll agree, the box art, if it's anything like the model will be, is absolutely fantastic. This is one of the Christmas presents that I got this year from my loving girlfriend. Um, so yeah, I'm really happy about this. Um, as well as I do have a couple of other models lined up to show you. The Class 43 HST packs, as you know, I've got a slight obsession with HSTs, but I've been really wanting a more up to date tooling, um, but they've just been a little bit higher than my price tag, and I've been wondering, are they actually worth the money? Um, Especially now, like they're going for about 300 and is it 360 quid or something like that. It's a lot of money anyway, considering that they no longer come with just one coach. It is literally just the power car and the dummy car, so you have to buy all the coaches separately as well. So I do think that's a big factor into it, and I think it would be nice if maybe they did just include one coach, or at least bring in a railroad version again. I think that would be nice because uh, the Hornby GWR train set that I looked at, I think more of those would definitely be a big hit with the public. Especially they bring back like the classic Intercity liveries or the Intercity Swallows. I think that would be great. But yeah, I've really been wanting the ScotRail one for some time now, just because I think the livery is absolutely fantastic, and with my sort of new model railway featuring around Scottish railways on the East Coast Main Line, I think yeah, it's definitely going to be a nice one to have. So if you want to have this set, here is the R number. It's R3698, and that is the ScotRail Class 43 HST pack. And if you want to read the back, you can pause it here, and that'll just give you a bit of a brief history on what happened with the HSTs for the ScotRail compared to the rest of the running lot from the is it the 1960s, 70s? I think it's 1969 actually it came out, something like that. I should know that off by heart, but yeah, let's waste no time and slide it out the box. So we have, if I can pick it up, it's a bit cold here in the shed, so everything's gonna be a bit sort of like not damp, but just very sticky, just because it's a bit cold. But here is the running sheet. So we have lubrication points on the axles, as well as how to take the body off. I'm not really a fan of the way the body comes off as such, or if the diagram's anything to go on. Hopefully, it's a little bit more like the railroad version, where it is literally just a couple of screws and the body just falls off more or less. Same has to be said for this polystyrene packaging. I'm not a big fan of it, although I do think it probably provides a bit more protection. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just hard to get the models out, but yeah, when you do get them out, wow, that has got some heft to it. Um, yeah, I'll just put that over there, and we'll get the dummy car out now. Um, Again, finger holes at the back. They do pop out easy, but I'm just not a fan of it. I'd prefer them to be in the block of ice. I think at the end of the day, polystyrene is plastic, and so is the block of ice. So if you're gonna do anything, um, at least put them in a packaging that's definitely well suited. Um, I just think that the block of ice is a lot better and a lot more quality. So that's my only nitpick really with this set. Same with like the Azuma that I had. That's in a polystyrene block, and I'm just not a fan of it. But I am a fan of this. Yeah, I just love it. It's like it's got this glossy finish to the front cab that sort of fades into this matte satin finish along the livery. Um, I'm not going to pretend to know every single monument. I recognise Edinburgh Castle, and the Royal Scot Guard, but I've not been everywhere in Scotland, so I'm not 100% sure. But I know that there are some videos out there that will explain that a lot better than me. All I know about the livery is that basically they feature like a special landmark from each of the major cities in Scotland. So that is absolutely great, and I love how it sort of fades into different colours. So we've got sort of the light sort of sky blue into sort of a bit more of a tealy blue to the deep rich darker blue, which is absolutely fantastic. And we've got the etched grills there, the roof panels, they're all fantastic. I mean, compared to this is the Midland Main Line, sorry, HST. You can see the grills are not etched. The bogey detail is a little bit basic, and it definitely shows in comparison. Like the weight is not the same, the finish is not the same. Although it's definitely an older model, um, you can definitely see the upgrades, and I think that's the main thing. Like, I've never really been able to notice that as much. Like, sort of, when you're looking at a picture of it, you think, oh, is it really worth the money? I can definitely say they are in comparison. They're a lot more detailed. Um, they look fantastic. I mean, look, you look at the grill, you can actually see all the way through. The same with the roof vents. We've got the working fans there, although they do only work on DCC, not DC. Um, so yeah, that is a bit of a shame. But and on the dummy car, if you pick it up, they do move freely a little bit. So that is something nice to see. Um, and we also have these, which are the Mark Threes. So I've only got two at the moment. Hoping to build up a bit of a bigger collection. But I've got the first trailer guard buffet, and just I think it's standard second class. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's Coach A and Coach D, for anyone that's wondering. So again, if we get into it, as I say, it's a bit cold in the shed, and sort of everything's gone a bit not damp. It's just cold, which made it a little bit hard to get in. And I don't really want to start ripping boxes, so I will figure a way into this. Just bear with me 1 second. There we go. It's that white piece of card that they put in as the background. That's what sort of makes it a little bit hard, I think, at the moment for me. But oh, we've got a little bit of a detail packaging or something. Let's have a look. Alternative couplings to make them closer together. They look very similar to one of the DMU ones that I have, and I can honestly say I hate them. So yeah, I'll not be using them personally. I know the magnetic couplings that you can get are pretty decent, are doing a better job of that, but I'm quite happy using the M pockets. But here we are, first look at one of the new tooled Mark IIIs, and yeah, definitely a lot more noticeable difference compared to the other ones. A lot more just separately painted parts. I think you can see like the springs and the pipe work, as well as the lining on the coaches. There's a bit of a tint to the windows, which is nice. Really crisp lettering on there. I'm not sure if they're separately fitted steps, but I'm not going to wobble them around too much. I think they are separately fitted, but yeah, they just look very, very, very delicate. Hence why they come in the block of ice, which is strange. The coaches come in a block of ice, but the power cars don't. It's just strange in my books. Lovely detailing on there. I think that is a separately fitted pipework, or at least the box bit looks like it is. Anyway, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's great. You know, look at the ends. It's not a rubber end to the coach. It is plastic. So a bit different to the Class 800. But yeah, it's definitely a fantastic looking coach. If I can focus on there, you'll be able to see all the writing. The first class on there. We've got the ScotRail. You can even see they've got the because it's the new sliding doors that they've even painted on the like button you press to open the door, which is nice. Nice bit of detailing on the gauges on the underframe as well. So that's fantastic. I'm not going to bother looking at third one, just because they're pretty much all the same in terms of detail, the coaches. But we're going to give it a bit of power now. We've got it on the track. So that's not too bad. We'll see if we can get a crawl out of it. Obviously, this is brand new. I did buy it. It's a second-hand model from Rails of Sheffield, but it's never been run. So I presume basically someone has bought it and couldn't get hold of the coaches, or just decided they didn't actually want it. I'm not sure, but slow running speeds, that I think that's actually pretty decent. You can see the lighting there as we move forwards at a bit more of a slower pace. It is moving, isn't it? Yeah, the lights are flickering a little bit, so the light panel might actually need like a stay alive fitting to it to run at a bit slower speeds. But yeah, that it's not got a bad crawl. It just stalls a little bit, but we'll see. We'll run it in, and we'll see if that's any different when we come back. That little stuttering at the back, I realise, is actually a piece of dirty track. I will rip that out in a second. So hopefully we don't get any more stuttering. But yes, pop back with me after it's been running for 30 minutes forwards, 30 minutes back, and we'll see how the performance changes. There we go. We're just coming back round again. There we are. So let's see if the performance is any different. I'm hopefully going to have a little bit of a better crawl with this, but we'll give it some juice and we'll see if we can get a crawl out of it. Right. Give it the juice in forwards. It's starting to move very slowly. I think it's stalled a little bit. There we go, a bit more juice. I think that is actually quite impressive. You know, obviously compared to the previous versions that I've had, they don't really crawl all too great, but I think that's not bad. Obviously, remember, I'm still using the Hornby Select controllers, so they're terrible for doing any crawling. So I don't think that's that bad at all. But yeah, we'll get the coaches on, and I think we'll give it a run around the track. I think the biggest test for these couplings is basically the coaches have the narrow NEM lock tension locks, whereas the power cars have like a wider one, but it's sat on the bogies, which I know the modern versions, because they've been retooled again, have fixed this issue. So I'll be interested to see if there's any reason for that, as to why they've decided to change the coupling design, or why they went this route in the first place. Because to me, it would have just been simpler to fit it to the underframe, surely. Because now they've had to fit this. So you can see this weird like coupling that sort of flicks up at the bottom. But there we go, under its own power. Look like we're coupled quite aggressively, but we're definitely coupled. So away we go, and this is the first run of the Class 43 HST in ScotRail. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I don't know about you, but I'm just gleaming with joy over this model. It's just fantastic. It looks amazing. It's a very smooth runner. It's not very noisy, and yeah, I just think it looks. It just looks great. You know, I don't know if it's because I've been wanting one of these for so long, or if it's because I've had the previous models for so long, and I've never actually had the chance to get one of the newer tooled versions. But yeah, I absolutely love it. Um, the main thing is it is a little bit pricey, and I didn't pay the RRP of this. Like, say this was a second hand model. Uh, I paid the same as a regular, like as if it was brand new, and that is just because I know the ScotRail HSTs are like rocking horse poo at the minute. You just can't get them, and if you want one, unfortunately, you've got to pay a hefty price. I was a bit lucky in a sense because I was looking on eBay at getting one, but when you look on eBay, the majority of people are selling them as like a complete set. So they have all five coaches or all four coaches, depending on what setup you're running, as well as the power cars, and you're looking about 500 quid, easy. Um, and I just think it's ridiculous. And I asked many people, oh, would you consider just selling the power cars? And they all said no. So yeah, I don't know if they're still on eBay, but there were quite a few when I looked. There was at least three when last time I looked, and yeah, they were all wanting to sell it as a complete set for about £500, which is yeah, I just don't have that kind of money to spend all in one go, and not anymore anyway since moving out. Um, but yeah, I'm enjoying the models. We'll have a look at the lights now, just because I realised I haven't actually put those in yet. So I've just got the dummy car set up because they have the same lighting. But here you can see this is the forward view. So you've got the directional lighting for forward view, as well as you can slightly see there is cab lighting in this, which is great. And the best thing about cab lighting is, because I haven't actually looked inside, but we'll see if there's any cab detail. And as you can see there is separately painted cab detailing in there, which is great. So if you ever wanted to take it apart and put a driver in, at least it looks the part. So I'll just set the camera down again, and we'll flick this into reverse so you can see that there is reverse tail lights, which are great. I think with the trouble with most diesel and diesel electric and fully electric locomotives, especially in today's day and age, LEDs are not that expensive to fit, and I think they just make a model go from being cheap to great. And this is one thing I've noticed as well. Just for anyone out there who might have a fix for this could just be this coach's coupling, but I've ran this round and it's not just on corners, it just randomly happens. But at any given moment, the dummy car just falls off. And I have no idea why. I don't know if it's to do with the coupling on the dummy car or if it's the coupling on the coach. So I need to give it a little bit more testing. But if anyone else has had this issue, comment down below, because I'd love to know if you've got a fix for it or if it's just something that has to happen and maybe it's better running it in reverse so that it's pushing everything. And now we're at everybody's favourite part, which is the ratings. So this is for the Hornby ScotRail Class 43 HST train pack, and we're going to start off with performance. Performance, I've awarded it 4.5 stars. It's not quite 5-star performance in my books, and that is just down to the crawl. I just don't think it's a solid crawl, although very impressive. But, that might just be down to my controller, but I can only award it for the equipment that I have at the moment, and therefore I'm just going to give it 4.5 stars. Detail wise, again, I'm giving it 4.5 stars. It's very impressive with the detail, but I think that's let down by the fact that there's working fans, but they're not working unless you put them on digital, which, I'm paying for something at the end of the day that I can't use at the moment, or possibly never. So I just think that's a little bit not great in my books, which is why I've just discounted it a little bit from 5 stars and put it at 4.5. Livery wise, I am awarding that 5 stars. It is absolutely fantastic, this livery. As I say, starts off with that sort of glossy finish to the cab, and that sort of transitions very seamlessly, really, into the sort of matte finish of the vinyl livery on the sides, which are impressively, you know, put on there. There's no paint bleed for the different colours. It's all very crisp and sharp, and you can basically tell what everything is. You know, it's not just like some blurry mosaic on the side. It's very, very crisp, and I think it's fantastic, as well as all the sort of detailing. So you've got like the ScotRail lettering, the emergency warnings and things like that, the lettering, the numbering. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, 5 stars for the livery. Quality wise, I'm giving it 4 stars. That is just down to the issue that I'm having with the coupling. I think that's one thing that probably has been addressed with the later models, but again, surely with quality control at Hornby, they should have seen that maybe this is an issue. And I just can't really fathom why they've attached the coupling to the bogie pocket rather than the underframe of the actual model itself. It just doesn't seem logical in my books, but you know, that's why I've just marked down the quality there as well, because I just don't think it's a proper thing that should have happened, really. And then we get to value, which is where it tails off a little bit from being, well, it was going to be a really high scorer. Value is 3 stars. And the reason I've done this is maybe it is Rails of Sheffield that they've marked it up a little bit too high, or is it the actual value of the original RRP? I think original RRP definitely, yeah, it could be a little bit lower. I think definitely the high 200s is probably worthwhile, but I think the second it goes over like £300 is it's no longer sort of considered valuable at that point. As what I'm trying to say is basically, yeah, it's too expensive over 300. And I definitely would say that you can pick them up as a bargain. I know that the East Coast of the more modern one was on sale recently. Unfortunately, I didn't have the funds at the time to purchase one, otherwise I would have had it. But that was discounted to £217.99 on Hornby.com as well. So it is possible for them to sell them for less, and I think that is a market. I think they probably would sell a lot better, maybe. But I'd definitely say, considering that, what people are selling them for on eBay, yeah, I'd say if you can pick one up below 300, it's probably a good buy. But I'd say try and aim more for like sort of below 300, because that is really where I think they're worthwhile. But at the end of the day, if you're selling something on eBay, you're selling it for what you want, and you've got to appreciate that the same day that it is somebody's thing to sell, and it's only valuable to what people are willing to pay for it. So yeah, so I'm marking it for 3 stars for value, just because it's a mix of things between the retailers, Hornby themselves, as well as individual sellers on eBay. It's definitely a very sought after item and very expensive, and that gives us an overall rating of 4.2. So not a bad batch. It's really good. Definitely a high rating. I think it probably could be better, but you know, I'll have to try and get my hands on one of the more modern tools. I think with 2024's upcoming GNER updated livery, updated tooling, that is definitely going to be on my wish list, and we'll see if that's got any improvements over this one. If I can get my hands on it, we'll see. Maybe for Christmas, might be able to get it when it comes out. We will see. But yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the video and the review. If you have, don't forget to throw me a like. Really helps me out. Or a dislike. But if you do put a dislike, you know, let me know why in the comments. Creative criticism and all that. It does help. I'd rather know why you didn't like it, or what I can do to improve these reviews. End of the day, it just helps me out. So yeah, but throw me a like if you did enjoy it, as well as throw me a comment on what's your thoughts. Do you own this HST pack or one of the liveries from this tooling? Let me know your experiences. Again, obviously with the coach problem, is it the coach or is it the dummy car? And do you have a fix for that? And as well, don't forget to throw me a subscribe. It's free to do so, so don't forget to do it, and it really does help me out, as well as you'll be able to stay up to date on any model reviews there are in the future, as well as any updates on the layout as we proceed to build it. So you can go and check that video out if you want to see me messing around, as well as you can see a bit more running of the HST on there. So yeah, go and check that video out, and I will catch you in the next video, guys. Take care and have a good one.